Number 3 for me is to have more money talk with my
Ooh,
family.
ooh. Yes, sir.
They say, the price of everything, the value of nothing.
Yes, sir.
And beyond that, not just out of frustration of you broke the thing that I bought, but are you prepared for life?
Right.
My second
Right.
oldest turned 17 at the end of last year. End of last year. We're in 2023 at the time of this recording. So end of 22, she ended 22 at 17. And she doesn't ask for much.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, I really need to start building my credit.
Wow. Wow. Love it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that she had to bring it to my attention made me feel like, because I know.
Right.
I know, and I need to be more responsible. It's one of those things where I'm very good at saying, let your child start from your highest point and build from there, not let them go through. And oftentimes in my mind, I'm thinking about abusive things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
things that really hold them back. But money is a thing that we didn't really talk about in my house, other than I can't say that my parents never talked about it, but it was only tithe and God to take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm not dismissive of that, but you can't run a household
You
on
cannot.
not understanding your responsibilities,
Right.
that kind of thing. Not challenging that principle. I'm saying there's the other part of that, right? How do you get to managing a household? How do you prepare for a future? How do you
Right.
build wealth?
Right.
How do you position yourself to do something that you love?
Right.
Those kinds of things.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I don't have all the answers. So maybe a more transparent thing is learning in front of my kids, or learning with my kids,
Yep. We learn together.
and not be ashamed of. I'm not a millionaire because I didn't invest in all the right stocks. So I didn't hit Bitcoin at the right time, or I didn't flip 15 houses last year.
Right.
They tried to count me out. I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend.
And with that, also like and subscribe before we even right out the gate. Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, share.
Yeah.
You may not think that it means anything. It means a lot to the content creators because it helps the platforms determine who they should, what content they should share. So
Right.
people are liking the content, engaging in the content. Every platform recognizes that it's content that other people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so y'all really in there. I thought I stopped the ice maker.
Listen.
We're gonna see how this works because I'm leaving all of that in. We are in
Candid.
Yeah,
Candid camera.
Did we say? I know we said in the last episode because we're recording so many back to back.
Yeah.
But it's snowing out here. Snowmageddon in DFW. So we are in Studio H, home studio.
Yeah.
Actually, this is Studio A. This is where it all started.
It is.
The room has changed a little bit, but our first. So James started as a guest. Now he's a co-host, but it was in this room. Similar orientation. I don't know. This table that's in the back of him was there. I think that's where we sat.
But actually, right, it was the focal point.
Yeah, we shot side to side. So some of the artwork.
Yeah.
There's probably a few more pieces since then.
Dope.
But yeah, this is episode 50 plus, because I don't know how they'll be organized because we shoot so much. But at the time of this recording, episode 52 is up and we got a few in the can. So that's a big accomplishment in podcasting, period. So the first milestone is 6. Most people don't make it to 6.
Right.
After 6, they say people never make it to 50.
Wow.
So it took me a little bit more than a year to do it. That wasn't the plan, but I'm grateful for the journey to date, and I'm all in.
All in.
All in.
No
and I got help
back.
now. Yeah.
No turning back. All in.
Yeah.
Those are milestones. We as a people, we tend to brush past accomplishments. You know, we'll do something great. We'll do something big, but it's frowned upon to be too cocky, too arrogant. But at the same time, you're doing yourself a disjustice if you do not acknowledge it. Like, listen, this thing I just did, I did this thing. And sometimes it needs to be said, because if you're not really in that realm, you don't understand what that accomplishment is until it's explained to you.
Yeah.
And then you appreciate it. Like, man, I'm glad you shared that, because I didn't know that. So,
I downplay a lot of stuff, assuming that it won't resonate with people.
mhm.
So I crazy. My concern about people's thoughts are not for in terms of me being successful. Like I want a million people to say I'm successful. I be
Right.
thinking about the 3 to 5 people that be like, why is he posting five that he got 500 plays or whatever like
Right,
that. But
right.
the other part that is not, it is not my duty to rob somebody of the encouragement,
Mhm.
because I
True.
know what it is when I see somebody's journey and I see them hit those those milestones.
Right.
Because at the time that you hit it, it's not a small milestone. It's the biggest milestone that you've hit at that point.
Exactly.
And then the intent is to hit bigger milestones. So in retrospect, they
Yeah.
may be seemingly less meaningful, but they're not. So appreciate that, bro. I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely start
Yeah, please.
start sharing the wins a lot more.
Please.
A lot
It's
more.
necessary. Especially, our culture, man. We always want to know the bad,
Yeah.
the negative.
Yeah.
Who crashed? What happened?
That negative
You
will
know.
circle the globe 3 or
Yeah.
4 times before the truth.
I promise.
If the truth ever circulates the globe.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I always say it's interesting because it really is every time. We didn't plan this part of the conversation. Like we said, we just switched the topic. But just that little bit of a conversation talking about wins and celebrating
Mhm.
those things. What we're talking about on this particular episode is I hate saying it's not resolutions.
Right.
If resolutions is your thing, rock out. The joke that we had before, my thing with resolutions is a lot of times they're often planned in the future, like a planned start date, and it's like the diet.
Right.
I'm gonna start the diet next week, right?
Next week,
And what
Monday.
happens this week? You try to account for everything that you can't do next week, end up gaining 10 to 15 pounds, and then your diet may get you back to your starting point
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
made the decision. So, but no, not resolutions, but in the vein of that, or in the vein of time phasing things you want to accomplish,
Yeah.
like what are our parenting goals or focuses?
Focuses. I like
Because
that better than the goal.
yeah,
Focus.
I don't like making my family a goal. I don't like the whole
Man.
this goes, that goes, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I don't want to objectify my family like that. But as a father, as a co-parent, with the large family or with any size family,
Right.
there are things like your life goes in phases, whether you want it to or not.
Right.
So with the family, we want to take a moment to be intentional about kind of time stamping what we're working on this year. And this is going to be it has to be transparent because we just came up with it.
I'm talking about on the fly right now.
On the fly.
Right
on the
now.
fly. And not because we don't think you guys deserve planning, but that's just how, like, literally, that's how it moved in conversation this morning. Damn, I dated this morning. Put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
This morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and we didn't even get into, we got to, that's a good idea. 3 more words, stop.
Let's see how this turned out in front of this camera.
Yeah. So what are your, how you feel about it, for one?
I like it. And I like the structure. I like the flow of our discussions because it's so candid, it's so original, it's so natural. The more you know about the topic ahead of time, the more you prepare yourself for
Yeah.
it. And so now you're giving these political answers,
Rehearsed.
and this is the right thing to say versus this struck me this way, so this drew this comment out of me. And that's what I want you to get. I want you to really know how I feel
Right.
before I can prepare myself to feel a certain way in front of the camera. So
Right.
I like that. But as far as my intent, my focus for the family this year, I just want to be more encouraging. I feel like I maybe subconsciously, I don't know, but I'm so focused on, yeah, you did it, good job, but oh, you could do it like this, or oh, let's try it this way. So sometimes if you give somebody a compliment, but it's wrapped in criticism, it's not received the same. It's just, I didn't even hear the compliment for the criticism. So now sometimes we need to just say, good job, and stop right there. Now's not the time to say, but here's the one thing you did mess up.
Mm.
Just take it out. Take the salt out completely and just let it be a sweet moment and your child to listen to it. And again, I'm talking to myself here because my kids, they're deep in sports. And every game, they'll leave the court looking at me, because
That
now,
validation or that
right,
feedback.
right. So in the beginning of, just an example, in the beginning of my 7-year-old season, I'm talking to him about, hey, let's do this, let's work on this. And then I noticed that it just wasn't translating out on the court. But
Mm.
then one day I just said, relax, have fun.
Yeah.
So he looked over at me in the middle of the game. I threw him a thumbs up. He threw one back, at the best game of his life. So after that, I started to move forward with that with all 3 of my sons. Just have fun. Just have fun. Enjoy yourself. Even the 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Once I stopped critiquing the heck out of him, his game increased. And that carries over into school. If you're always beating them down about, man, you're not focused, man, you're not paying attention, you're not studying, you're not doing your best, I backed off of him and his grades went up.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I didn't expect that. So just being more intentional with that. What about you?
Yeah, man, you got this art of tap dancing on my nerves every time you start talking about some stuff.
Yeah.
Because I am that way with me.
Right.
And I was just about to say, and it works for me. I don't know that it works for me.
Mm.
I've coped with that version of me for so long that that's how I process things.
Mhm.
But it spills over into, well, what about that? But you got a 97? I mean, but so the one question that you Miss, did you understand that one question? And again, it's not, to me, it's about,
Yeah.
I want you to catch everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I can't control the pace or the timing of which they catch stuff.
Thanks.
And that's something that I definitely got to work on. But yeah, I'm so ride with my illogical self for a minute. Like I'm almost more forgiving for the 70% than I am for the 95. Because I feel like the 70%, there's something like there's a concept that you're not in. And if you miss the concept, then probably this section of it didn't go right. 95, like, did you just not spell something correct, or like did you
Right.
did you not show your work in the thing? And that's just poor. So that's, yeah. Thank you for that.
Man, listen, no, thank you for that, because listening to you say that portion, I operate the same.
Mm.
Like I'm like you. If that's 70, okay, we need to work on something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a miss. That 3% miss,
Careless.
you got a 97. You just didn't want to get the 100, did you?
Careless. Did you
So-
answer the bonus question? Did you? I mean,
did you put your name at the top?
yeah. Oh, you turned it in a day late. Okay, that's your 95.
Right.
But that was
Right.
me. In full transparency, I was the kid that didn't do homework.
Yeah.
Like I didn't watch TV during the school year, probably from 4th grade to 4th through 9th.
Just couldn't pull it together.
Completely missed the first couple seasons of Martin. Not that my dad would allow that in the house anyway.
Yeah.
It just became the norm, right?
Yeah.
So I should be way more aware. But to your point, when I backed off of my son, I want all my kids to get it. So it was never,
Mhm.
my kids never got beaten for bad grades.
Right.
Like that was, I was beyond that.
Yeah.
But I would kind of manipulate my actions toward them so that I wanted them to see that I was disappointed. And that's no way to, there's a place for that.
Yeah.
Because the relationship should be such that you don't want to disappoint your parents, but it shouldn't be
A weapon. Yeah.
definitely weaponize it.
Yeah.
About to jump into healthy marriages. Definitely weaponize it. But it seems like it's clicking now for my son that it's on him.
Yeah.
The grades aren't doing anything for me
Right. Right.
at all.
Right.
Right. Same thing with higher education. You going to college isn't doing anything for me. Right. I've been through the process of, I wanted to get a degree because my mom didn't get it, or my dad, I wanted to get a 4 year because I literally started grad school because my sister didn't go.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
show
one up.
up. Right.
I was trying
you.
to one up. She got A's all her life. I think she got a C in college, and I was celebrating. She's 5 years old.
You're human. Yeah, you're human now.
But no, that's a big deal. It's big for me, for my kids to take responsibility for wanting to do well. And then when we just had so I am improving. We just had an example where he came and showed the report card. Now, quick pause. We get text alerts when kids aren't doing well. Real time telling. Teachers be on the big snitch, which is
blatantly
big snitch on the kids, which is good. I'm not just saying it in jest. And I would snapshot the text and send it to them in the text like, "What we doing?" And I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, I kept doing it.
Right.
And I thought that was better than me not yelling, or not that those are the only two options, but I was trying to manage it like. But the reality is, he kept saying it, kept saying it.
Yeah.
He shot me a text, AAA, BA. I don't know if he had a C or not.
Yeah.
But it was, I was like, I was like, how do you feel?
Right.
Because that's the important thing.
It is.
I'm proud of you, but how do you feel about it? He's like, I feel good about myself. I'm proud. He said, and you'll see more of this.
Boy, the connection has been made.
I was like, cool.
Yeah.
All right, now that I stopped buying time, I need to be more. I need to be a better leader. And
like, in what way? What do you mean?
In my home, in the example that I set, making sure that my words might match my actions, making sure that there are enough words, so that they understand the actions as well.
Yeah.
I have, like, a lot has changed. A lot has become okay because it hadn't been addressed.
Right.
Like the part of the point that we're getting to, like the whole bring the dinner table back.
Right.
I don't know when the last time all of us sat down. Now, groups of us will sit down.
Right.
And another part of it is, especially during the summer, there's no schedule in the house.
Right.
Which I take responsibility for.
Yep.
Like, there has to be some kind of structure, but the kids might be up until 3:00 in the morning. Well, I'm asleep at 10. I'm up at 6.
Yeah. They knocked out.
Yeah, and that's the time that I want to get busy. So we used to have breakfast on Sundays. I get up and cook breakfast. That's something I saw my dad do.
Yeah.
And like, I enjoy cooking, but I found myself getting frustrated. Like, y'all not up?
Right.
But I never said, this is important as an institution for our family, as a tradition for our family.
Yes.
You need to be here.
Yes.
I just kind of letting them make it important.
Yep.
They might not have known how important it was to me. To them, it might just be, oh, dad cooked breakfast, thank you. But the whole idea of sitting down and what that creates, what it generates a conversation, what it does in terms of reinforcing family values, we haven't done a good job of that. And there's really no excuse for it, because I think our generation has, like, we're the generation that's shifting from knowing what hard work is to really being to conveniences being really accessible.
Right.
Like, y'all, excuse me. That might have been cut out, but your boy trying to get his voice back. But like, we never had lawn care service when I was young. No, I take that back. I was
that's what I was. You did.
Yeah.
It was you.
Yeah, I didn't care for it, but it was the care for the lawn was a service that was my duty in the house.
Right.
I remember my dad saying, when you get chest high to a lawnmower, that's your job. So before that, we used to have to rake, because he had the lawnmower that would the side discharge.
Right.
So after the rows are thrown, you got to rake the rows to a pile and then get to the bag, get the grass in the bag.
Yeah.
And even when it was having a bag, a lawnmower with a bag on it, like, I thought that was too much work, right? So sometimes I would kind of open the side discharge too, so it'd be kind of half in the back, kind of try to play it.
It's down a little bit.
Try to play it, because I can't be. My dad had a nice yard. It was like, you go 2 rows, you got to dump. I'm like, yo, bro, what we doing? But now I have a lawn service.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's we also have a lawnmower, but I've made it, because I enjoy the convenience. He doesn't get the full experience. Now, over the last the last season of yard work before it's, grass doesn't grow a lot in our area period unless you have installed and well maintained, and like it's a process because it's so hot in the summer.
Right.
Trying to keep up with the amount of water that you need is either expensive or almost, it's a big challenge. But that was his thing
Mhm.
last year. Like, yeah, I need you to, like, we split it just like my dad started. I cut the front, you cut the back, because the front what everybody sees until you get
Right.
your
Right.
till you
Right.
get your lines up, right? I don't want you zigzagging all over the place.
Right.
But reeling it back in, just that leadership, balancing the things that are optional versus the things that are mandatory
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my house. That's a focus for me in 2023, and definitely bringing the dinner table back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he touched on it a couple of times, but that is I guess the part B or the part 1B. We have a 1A, 1B topic today about bringing the dinner table back. That's a focus. That's one of the focuses that we're talking about for this year as well. Is it slipped away? It's one thing if there's perhaps a family that's never done it.
Mm.
Bringing it back means the culture of bringing it back, not necessarily saying, "Oh, we never did that in my household anyway, so there's no bringing it back."
Right.
Start it,
Right.
because it used to be a thing in our culture, in our people's history and lives. That was the one thing that you could and would share together, was the fact that once it was time to eat, the whole family came together and they ate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like even in my household on that topic, we eat at the same time, but it's not the same because some of us are sitting at the table and then
Mm-hmm.
there's an island right
Yep.
there. So the two teenagers, they want to go over to the island and sit at the island. The littles, they have their own little table over in the corner. So they're sitting at the table. So now, though we're in the same room, we're in three different locations in the same room. So now, yeah, we'll talk a little bit, but we're throwing conversation across the room.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the dinner table back, meaning everybody right here at this single table.
Yep.
So I'm looking across the table, making eye contact, because actually it'll become unnatural and uncomfortable if it's not a thing. Meaning, we spoke a couple of episodes ago about just being intentional and being around your kids and having something to talk about.
Mm.
That comes from being in a situation where y'all are talking. It could be
Constantly.
small talk. Well, even small talk is awkward if you don't have that relationship
Yep.
with your family. So now, if y'all normally sitting at the table and laughing and talking a goofy talk or whatever, hey, put the phones away, put the tablets away, check them at the door, lay that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go sit at this table. Let's eat. Let's talk. What did you do today? What did you learn today? What was funny to you today? It don't have to be talking about something that's stressful for your
Yeah.
family. Like, what did you do at work? And now that may be a negative energy for you, work wise or whatever you do to be, for your hustle or your grind. If you're discussing it at the dinner table, now that dinner table becomes a symbol of anguish
Yeah.
and stress. You don't want that.
Yep.
If you want to talk about the next movie y'all want to watch together as a family, or hey, what you watching on social media, son? Help me catch me up on a good movie we may need to catch up or see that we haven't talked about.
Yep.
We've been doing better with that. But I'd like for us all to be at the same table. Put your phones down, put your tablets away, and let's tap in. Like, what you got going on? Concerns about life? What you got?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to insert,
Mhm.
when we had dinner as a family when I was growing up,
Mhm.
TV was off. Unless I would say the exception was if we so happened to be eating late on a Thursday
Mhm.
at 8 o'clock, Cosby Show came
Oh
on.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Cosby Show in a different world. Like, that was the exception. And then even they kind of built a tradition around that. We had pizza. And as silly as it sounds, we had pizza and soda.
yeah. Oh,
Because
listen,
that wasn't, that's
a
another thing.
norm.
Like, growing up, I ain't just going to wherever and grab whatever. Not younger than 12, I would say.
Right.
My kids got free reign. But no, just taking those distractions. And even to your point about, like, my family wasn't big on like movie watch, anything like that.
Mhm.
We play volleyball together. My dad come outside and play basketball.
Yeah.
We go putt, things like that, or go bowling. even if the conversation wasn't riveting, it was reinforcing that we need to respect this time set aside for us to be a family
Right.
and have that forum available if we need it. Because what's been normalized, just like you said, and as you were saying, that people sit in different areas,
Mhm.
even that for us is not as often as it should be.
Yeah.
But we do need to be more intentional about us being in the same space around the table. I mean, we the large family is an excuse because if something is made important at the head,
Right.
then typically within reason, the family's gonna fall in line.
Yep. And you instilling something in them that perhaps they'll miss later and yearn for it and recreate it in their household,
Mm,
for one. And two, listen, have a plan in life. And this is a cheat code I'm about to share with everybody. And this from me talking to elders.
mm,
You'll miss these years. So when your kids are grown and gone and they have their families, if you didn't build a solid foundation to where they yearn to interact with you, talk to you, and miss those conversations, miss that time, then when they're grown and gone, you'll look up and it'll be 5 years that you haven't seen your child and their family,
mhm,
your grandkids, or your son-in-law, daughter-in-law, whatever the case may be. The closer or the stronger you build that relationship, they'll say, "Hey, no, we're going to my parents' house for Thanksgiving or Christmas. I
mm.
don't care which one, but it'll be one." And that's a tradition that'll be set to where now you have that. And again, this is everything you do now. Don't get so locked into today that you're missing the bigger picture.
Yep.
You have to look at the future as well.
So we got what was the first one?
First
More
time.
encouraging, more
Yeah.
encouraging,
Yeah.
better leader. Back on you.
Ooh. Ooh.
More
Let's
encouraging, better leader. We want to do better at making sure that we call out the uh the main points for your takeaways.
I guess I'll go back into I guess to dig deeper into the using more of my words. Better leader, better interaction, better parent.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, better counselor, better confidant, better husband. Because what'll happen is I'll have in my mind that I know what my intent is. I know what my point is.
mhm,
And if I just give you 2 words and now you're not in my head, you don't understand what I really truly meant. So now my disappointment sets in like, "Hey man, what are you doing? I
you
just
should
told
know.
you should know." "Well, you told me to pick this up." "Okay, but what did you do with it after that?"
Yeah.
"I set it over there on the counter." "Son, pick that up, man. Pick that up, take it over here, put it into this, close this and But then as I'm saying it to him, there's no way you would have known
No
all
way.
of that. I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
So just trying to be more transparent of it. But you know what's challenging about it is I don't like over talkers. I don't like when people over explain. I feel like you're trying to micromanage me.
Mm,
So now I'm bringing that dislike and that focus into my relationship with my sons. And the issue with that is they may need that right now. They're not ready for you to let them go and let them be free reign. And they need that micromanaging right now. Like they may not like it, but they haven't displayed to you that they're ready for you to just give them the green light like that. Like tapping into what you said about the lawn service. Absolutely.
yeah.
You would use the
Yeah.
lawn service. I told my son to go cut the grass one day.
Yeah. How?
He told me, "You do know I have allergies, right?" I almost passed out.
Your tolerance is too low. You need to build up your immune system. You got to
Man, go sneeze that out
put the
and
stuff
push
in there.
that. So just being more aware of their needs, their shortcomings, their roadblocks, and not just discounting it so quickly.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me you have an allergy problem, and I laughed it off like, go figure it out. That was kind of inconsiderate on
Mm,
my part. I have to do better with that. So just meeting them where they are, man. I got to work on more interaction in that area. Because
yeah.
I'm, ooh, I'm trash sometime on that.
There's so many beautiful conversations in my head that never see the light of a dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm monologue king, and
Yeah.
you should know because you know me. Don't mind me. Don't mind the fact that I changed.
Mm-mm.
You should know me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why you my child. That's why we married, right? That's how it works. So I need to number 2 for me, and I think we'll be good with 3, top 3. So number 2 for
Okay.
me, I need to manage my frustrations better.
Mm.
My face says a lot in real time,
Ooh.
like in real time. And sometimes I know that my facial reaction, not even words or tone,
Yeah.
screaming, anything like that, or aggressively getting at them, I know it cuts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
and just continuously reinforcing that someone you love is that disappointed in you that they don't actually have words to articulate. So it's kind of barring a little bit from using your words, but
Man.
it's again, we're finding how much more similar we are through these conversations.
Mhm.
I A lot of times I think I'm doing a good thing by holding my words. Oftentimes it is at that moment,
Yeah.
but I never come back and revisit it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they saw was a frustration that I couldn't explain in the moment.
Right.
And then at some point after that, I'm good.
Right.
Right. And that's not the example that I want to set, that's how life works.
Yeah.
That's not how relationships work. So
That's good.
definitely got
real
to be
good.
better at. And another thing is, and this is specific to my wife,
Mhm.
she'll come in to she walks in the room, or we weren't in the same place, now we're on the same place, and we start having a dialogue, and my face is in one of those modes. She thinks it's something with her.
Right. 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 Yep.
Right. And now it sets her off in a certain
Mhm.
way. She's like, I didn't even do anything. No, you didn't.
Right.
I didn't say you did.
Right.
But I also didn't say anything.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
knowing
Yep.
that, and it's managing my frustrations with myself included.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I know that I'm not hitting the mark, I'll get at me about it,
Yeah.
but it'll show to everybody else, and I'll never explain it. So again, it's
Mm.
like confusion. Did I do something? I don't even know how I could have done something
Right. Right.
because
Not knowing you're so deep in your zone,
in my
that
zone,
energy is exuding.
in
It's
my
in the
zone,
room. Yeah.
in my zone, and now I'm ticked off that she's ticked off for me being upset with myself. Then it spirals,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep.
and even that, the fallout of that, the kids can see,
Oh yeah.
because it's not, again, there's no screaming in my house for real.
Right.
I don't scream. My wife comes from a louder family,
Yeah.
so they tones be up.
Oh,
Like
passion. That's
yeah,
passion.
just
That's
naturally.
that's me.
Even in, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh,
Relax. You
I'm
good?
right here. No, love my family, love
Yeah.
my extended family. But it's just, again, it's one of those differences, and we touched on it on, I don't know if it was on this show or our sister show,
Hmm.
about just the differences in your upbringing and how it impacts cohabitation, how it impacts marriage, expectations, the ability to work through stuff. What is conflict, let
Yeah.
alone the resolution thereof,
Yeah. Your style of,
style of.
your approach.
Yep.
It's all of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
So yeah, managing my frustration, and go a little bit deeper. A lot of my frustration has to do with accountability.
Mm.
There are things that I know that I need to be doing, or that I know my family needs, and it needs to be adjusted in real time. And if I pause, it gets worse, and now I'm more upset, right? Which is completely illogical for a very logical person that I
Right.
claim to be.
Right.
But yeah, just, full transparency is making sure that I set the tone for accountability.
Man, that's a good one, because it actually kind of segues me into my third one, um, which deals with that accountability. My third focus for this year for my family, my household, mainly my children, because my wife, when you hear it, you'll understand. my children, I want to create more solid, more focused decision makers.
Mm.
There's such followers in the household, which is good to a point. But again, if I'm preparing you to go out into this world,
Mm.
I don't want you to be a follower. And my 16-year-old, he does a good job from what I've noticed out in the public about kind of having his own mind made up and not following every trend that comes up.
Right.
But I want to be less hands-on. Like if my 7-year-old or my 4 finna be 5-year-old who's having a problem with something, getting a shirt on, my natural instinct is to grab it and hurry up. Come on, son, we don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And pop it on. Step back. It's hard. I'm working on it this year, though. It's hard. Put your hands in your pocket, sit down, and give him a minute.
Mm.
Because every time you do, when you're not around, they figure it out. They know how to get up and climb on top of the mantle and get the 2 remotes that they need for the TV to work and then go into these apps that they want to use on the phone or on the television. They know how to go and do this and open this and pull this down and climb to the top of the pantry to get everything that you put up there that you thought was out of their reach. They can figure out everything else in the world except when you're standing there.
Yeah.
So whether I'm there or if I'm not there, I want you to have that same energy. Figure it out. My kids don't know how to tie their shoes right now. I have a problem with that. You know why? I'm too hands-on. I jump in and I tie their shoes every morning.
Yep.
Let's go. No. Why are you tying a 7-year-old's shoes? Why are you tying a 4-5-year-old's shoes and he knows how to almost code and build a code in order to make his tablet go into a mode that we thought we blocked in parent mode, but he found out how to go around it.
Yeah.
If you can do that, son, you can tie your shoes.
That's okay. You can build a robot to tie his shoes. Can't tie his own shoes.
That is not a lie.
And I get like, and again, that's part of that dips back into my frustration because that's a very real thing. Because I've learned to be patient, but my face would be like, you can't be serious.
Right.
You at your big age of 6, you can't, and that's what I'm exuding is the whole you can't.
Yeah.
And even if they learn to do it a different way, like what is loop and swoop? What is the bunny is? What is we doing?
I don't want you to just do it. I want you to do it like I know how to do it.
Anytime I see my son doing bunny ears, I gotta leave the room. Like what? Like, is that actually time? Hey, what did you? Nah.
You're cheating, son.
Nah, you crisscross, loop, sloop around and pull. Do the bunny ears to push the bunny ears together?
Yeah. Who showed you this? That's not what I do.
It doesn't make sense, man.
It does not. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I ain't want to cut you off.
No, that was it. No, that's
number 3.
That's it. Short, sweet, and precise. Hands off. Do it. If it's not right, do it again. If you need a question, I'll answer that question, but figure it out.
Yeah. So better leader, work on my frustrations. And these are mine too. Number 3 for me is to have more money talk with my family.
Ooh. Yes, sir.
They say, the price of everything, the value of nothing.
Yes, sir.
And beyond that, not just out of frustration of you broke the thing that I bought, but are you prepared for life?
Right.
My second oldest turned 17 at the end of last year. End of last year. We're in 2023 at the time it's recorded. So end of 22, she ended 22 at 17. And she doesn't ask for much.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, I really need to start building my credit.
Wow. Love it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that she had to bring it to my attention made me feel like, because I know.
Right.
I know, and I need to be more responsible. And it's one of those things where I'm very good at saying, let your child start from your highest point and build from there, not let them go through. And oftentimes in my mind, I'm thinking about abusive things, things that really hold them back. But money is a thing that we didn't really talk about in my house, other than I can't say that my parents never talked about it, but it was only tithe and God to take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm not dismissive of that, but you can't run a household on not understanding your responsibilities.
Right.
That kind of thing. And again, that's not challenging that principle. I'm saying there's the other part of that, right? How do you get to managing a household? How do you prepare for a future? How do you
Right.
build wealth?
Right.
How do you position yourself to do something that you love? Those
Right.
kinds of things.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and I don't have all the answers. So maybe a more transparent thing is learning in front of my kids or learning with my kids
Yep. We learn together.
and not be ashamed of, I'm not a millionaire because I didn't invest in all the right stocks. So I didn't hit Bitcoin at the right time, or I didn't flip 15 houses last year.
Right. Right.
Even when I know that those are options to build wealth, I don't have a really good explanation of why we're not further than we are.
Right. Right. Right.
No, I have a very good explanation of why we're not. I can't explain to them today how we're going to get to where I want to be. I was irresponsible. That's a
Right.
flat out
Right.
explanation of a lot of stuff. Is I was irresponsible. I've been blessed to earn well, but it's not how much you make; it's how much you keep.
Correct.
In whatever scenario.
Correct.
So if you're
Man.
if you always, like, I contradict myself a lot because I say tomorrow's mythical, which it is, but if you're only living to today at the expense of the next tomorrow and the tomorrows after that, that's not,
Yeah.
that's super irresponsible as a head of a household.
Yeah.
So I want to have more meaningful dialogue about money, expose, my shortcomings and learn in front of them and learn with them so that they got a shot.
Absolutely.
They got a shot.
Absolutely. Man, that's deep. That's needed. That's necessary because think about how many people right now on these social media platforms and just out in life, you'll hear
Mm-hmm.
our culture speaking generational wealth. Generational wealth. Great. Great. Step one, check. Talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Action though.
Yeah.
Now we got to get to the action. And that's what you speaking on is putting the action to the table.
Yep.
Boots to the ground, as they say.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they're like, okay, but what are you doing about it? Nothing. I don't know what to do.
Watching these YouTubes.
Watching these YouTubes. Now they can regurgitate to the T. They can tell you this is the strategy. This is what you do. You do this, move this, transition into this.
Have you done it?
Okay, well, who did you use, man? Who your brokerage? I don't have a brokerage account.
No.
You don't have a brokerage account. Well, why are you talking to me about investing in stocks? What are you talking about? Are there other methods that I don't know about? What do you use? What do you mean? What do I use? Stop talking to me about what you know how to do because you heard somebody else say it. It sounded good. It made sense to you. So now you're just saying it. So that's huge that you say that because I need to do the same thing. I told you about the little experiment I ran with my 16-year-old and a 17-year-old cousin. Sat them down one day in the kitchen. If y'all were adults in the world.
That Theo conversation.
Right. How much money would it take you to live per month? One said 2,000, the other one said 1,000. I was like total for the whole 30 days? They were like, yeah. Like out on your own. I don't mean like you living with me. I'm like your own crib, your own house, car.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah. Went through the whole, I itemized just the crib. I didn't go into car. I didn't go into insurance, gas, food, clothing, water. Didn't touch it. The crib alone wiped them. Wiped them. I said, now let's even put y'all together as roommates and put your $2,000 with his $1,000. Now y'all have $3,000.
Right.
Now y'all can pay rent and buy some eggs where you could back then. You won't get any eggs now.
This time last year.
So that's I'd like to adapt that in my household as well, man, because it's necessary. Yeah. Jump out here and be broke.
You just another topic just came out of that.
Uh-oh.
Knowing what to say and knowing what to do.
Ooh.
Kind of different concepts. And people conflate the two all the time.
Because they're absolutely two separate things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen.
That's that regurgitation, knowing what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's recap. So my 3, I can't speak for your 3. My 3, depending on how it's edited, they may have appeared throughout the episode, but just to be clear, my 3 were being a better leader, managing my frustrations, and having more and more frequent money discussions with my family, including learning in real time in front of them.
And my 3, with conviction, is be more encouraging to my family, using my words to where I can really convey what I have going on. And 3 was be less hands-on to make them better decision makers on their own.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Again, if you made it to this point in the conversation, you have, there's no way you don't have several comments. And those comments should be reflected somewhere, either in the comment section of this particular episode, if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook. You can do it as a rating if you're on Apple, Spotify, any of the podcast platforms. We're on Audible as well, Google, Stitcher, Anchor. I don't know one that I'm not on, unless it's one that's not well known or well used, because they do pop up. So yeah, please leave a comment. Please like. The likes actually help
Right.
in a number of ways, but it helps primarily tell the platform that this is something that somebody else like you might enjoy,
Oh yeah.
to get
Oh,
it
yeah.
recommended. So I know we have quality content and it's improving. I'm not discrediting that there's no room for improvement or anything like that, but it helps. Again, shout out to Africa, Ghana, Malawi, South Africa, Tanzania, Liberia, several other countries as well. These are the countries I'm naming because we are ranked or have ranked recently. And it's competitive, so it changes from week to week, but we've been consistently showing up in those countries, at least for the past few weeks. So we appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Everyone listening everywhere. Do need to be better at highlighting merch. So dear son, anything that you've seen me or seen us wear,
Yeah.
will be on the website. It'll be on the website by the time this goes up. But that's another way to support. There's a donation tab on my link tree, which is in the description below. Also on the website. The website is probably the easiest place. So the dearsonpodcast.com. If you want to sow a seed, we appreciate it.
By all means.
We appreciate it. There's a lot of different content coming that's being worked out in terms of format that will be produced, that will be in the same vein of having meaningful storytelling, but in different formats. I'm excited about those shows, documentaries, things of that nature. So this is not just about this particular instance of content on however you're consuming this, but there's building a network. And I've said it before, if you can think own for men, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't exclude women, because clearly I know what own is
Yeah.
for it to be a comparison. So yeah, dear son, I also salute the father figure.
Father figure movement, man.
I got
Good
Reggie.
brother.
Reggie is family. So but also always want to shout out people that are betting on themselves.
Yes.
And specifically, not limited to, but specifically Black people, because we have to.
We have to.
We have to make sure that we know that we're an option.
Yeah.
And we look for an option in as many places as possible. So apparel is one of the low-hanging fruits. Not low quality, low-hanging fruits, because there's an abundance of Black-owned apparel companies. What you got?
Yeah. I just want to say, if use this platform, sometimes there's people for a fact can benefit from it. And if your children or your relatives or anything like my circle of friends and family and my children, sometimes some information they receive from someone else, they'll receive it 10 times better, faster, quicker. It'll resonate better with them because it came from someone that don't know them personally.
Yep.
Somehow, if we know the person, we feel like it's coming from a loaded position or place. Like, oh, you're just saying that because you know I'm dealing with XYZ. But if they hear someone that they absolutely do not know talking about that same very thing, they tend to receive it. So if you know anybody like that, like, share, subscribe, send this to them, send the network to them, send an episode to them. Maybe there's several episodes within the network that speak to a few things they have going on.
Mhm.
Let them know. Like, hey, some of the stuff that I've heard you talk to me about, no judge. Go check this out, man. I think they got some other stuff that you might be able to see. And just kind of let that kind of walk you through maybe some different approaches. Give us some feedback. We may need to change or alter some of the things that we say or some of the views we have. It's not concrete. It's just, hey, this is where I stand today.
Yep.
Perhaps tomorrow there's a better way, and you show it to me. You know?
Yeah. Always open to more and better information. And that's a real thing, because sometimes when I think about is this worth it or not, or are the people getting it?
Yeah.
That says worth it, I'm convicted on that.
hmm
But you can have something that's worth millions, billions, or invaluable if you can't get it to the people
Right.
that need it. That becomes a discouraging part. But it's people that have reached out, like, hey, I just can we talk? Can we have a conversation? Or
Mhm.
man, I've been dealing with this for so long, and some of those things we take for granted. So again, we can't be blocking blessers. Blocking blessers. Blessing blockers. And I'm leaving that in. Because
don't block the blessers either,
I
though.
was
Now.
about to rock with that. We can't be blocking blessers.
We need them.
I think you can make that work too, but
Yeah,
don't be a
yeah.
blessing blocker. I think I'm good on this episode.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.
They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great. Give my baby little more.